So, bows versus bros? And
So listen, I am Sanina and I am one half of Bows and Bros on today. Listen, we have a special edition for you entitled Girls Talk. I truly believe tonight will be a night of understanding, peace, health, freedom, and truth. We have 10 wonderful, beautiful ladies in this room with me tonight. They all have been through different things, and I'm more than positive that there is someone for every lady watching to hear from someone who has the tools to walk with their head up and help you lift yours also. Please note tonight's tips will be personal experiences, and these are steps and wisdom that help these ladies on their journey. Now, before we get started, I want to ask everyone to introduce yourself and let the people know how you're doing. So, Princess, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Princess Jones. Most of you may know me as Princess the BGV on social media. And I'm doing amazing. I'm here, happy to be here with all these beautiful ladies and with my sis Sanina. Girls Talk.
We're so happy to have you too. Okay, Aquaria.
Hi, I am Aquaria Hargrove, and I am real big into sports. I'm a teacher, so I love to educate, and I am a mom as well. So,
Yes. All right, Miss Maris.
Hello, I'm Maris Major. I am a mom, a grandma, a business owner, and a woman of God, and I'm just so excited about being here tonight to share my experiences and to talk with all the ladies here. So excited.
That's awesome. All right, Candy.
Hi everyone, I'm Candy Evans. I am a mom, a wife, a grandmother of 1.5, waiting on baby number 2. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I own the candy shop in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a woman of God, and I'm excited to be here with Sanina and all these beautiful women.
Yes, they're so excited to have you. All right, Norlisha.
Hi everyone. My name is Norlisha. I am a wife, a bonus mom. We're going to talk about that on tonight. And I am a mobile crisis assessor with Therapeutic Alternatives. I'm excited to be here. Some of you may know me as the bishop. I'm not going to be the bishop tonight. We're keeping it real on tonight. So thank you for tuning in.
Yes. Okay, Laisha, your turn.
Well, I'm Laisha. I am a wife of 15 years, a mom. I am a bonus mom to many girls, running maternity homes. Still love those ladies. I'm an entrepreneur, 2 businesses, multiple businesses. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
See beautiful women, beautiful faces, an amazing vibe. I'm excited for tonight.
That's so awesome. All right, Brianna Carter.
Hi everybody, my name is Brianna Carter. I'm a mother of 2, Rachel and James, and I'm in school doing billing and coding, so I graduate in May.
Good for you.
Yes, and I'm actually going back to school for something else, but I'm gonna take a break. But I'm just happy to be here with all you lovely ladies.
Yes, happy to have you. Okay, Bree, your turn.
Hey everybody, I'm Bree. I'm a recent college graduate. I'm a business owner. I'm a praise and worship leader. I do a lot. So welcome to my world.
And she made our shirts also. Okay, Amber. Sing your song, sis.
Hi, y'all.
Yes.
I'm Amber. I wear many hats as well. I'm very thankful to be here. This is actually the start of my testosterone-free weekend. You know, I'm excited about that. But I am a mother. I am a wife. I'm also a beekeeper. My husband's a farmer. So,
wow.
Yeah, and I am me.
All right, that was so awesome. So, okay, ladies, are you ready to begin?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get started with our questions. So my first question goes to Miss Brianna Carter. Now, self-care is such an important topic with human race in general. But oftentimes, I've noticed as women, we forget about ourselves because we worry so much about our spouses, children, boyfriends, friends, and many more. What is your definition of self-care, and how do you go about doing it?
My definition of self-care is being selfish. At one point, I did not do self-care for myself because I was always on a go, doing for others. And eventually, I was talking to my mentor, and she said, you got to stop and take care of you, because the more you go for others, you're not going to be able to take care of them if you don't stop and do it for yourself. So eventually, I just started reading books on self-care. I take bubble baths. I detox myself. I just do my room. I set the bathroom mood right with candles everywhere. I'm actually reading a book right now called Pussy Powers. Pussy Prayers. I ordered it off of Amazon. And what's that book again? It's called. I'm in my phone. No, I messed up the name, so it's actually called Pussy Prayers, and it's actually about reconnecting. Yeah, it is a prayer in there, but it's actually about just reconnecting with yourself and self-affirmations. Especially when we deal with, I'm not gonna say toxic boyfriends, but when you want to release that energy from them, it really helps. Even though I have my 2 kids at home, and they just like to barge in the bathroom. So I just started telling their daddy, I'm going to get a room. Do not call me. Do not FaceTime me. Do not do anything by a certain time. If you haven't called me by 7:30, we're not talking. So D&D it is. So at that point, that's what it's about me, taking care of me, taking vacations, and just going. Like, you don't have to go anywhere to the beach. You can do stuff local, or go to another state. Just take a drive, but just have that moment to yourself so you can reconnect with yourself and start learning you all over again, and wearing your crown, fixing it when it's supposed to be fixed. And so that's my definition of self-care.
Awesome. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that? Amazing.
Who can top the
I mean,
right,
I was about to say, I think
Maya Angelou has
spoken.
Up.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to Amazon.
I actually want to piggyback off of what she said about, doing the whole hotel room. You don't have to go far, but just a personal little testimony. I was, going through a little transition from 2020 to 2021, not just in a relationship, but career, trying to make sure I was completely balanced out going into the new year. So what I did was I took myself to the beach on my birthday, and it was so cute. The room, it had panoramic views of the beach all around the room, and I just stayed there by myself, and it was like one of the most empowering feelings. I came back just feeling really powerful, knowing that I could face anything, not by myself, because I know you're not by yourself, but I could face things and not have to feel like I'm missing something or missing somebody, So that she hit that on the head. I really feel like that's one of the most important things in women, taking care of yourself, self-care, practice.
If I could piggyback on both of them, probably a couple years ago, because I have twins, they'll be 11. Yeah, so my intro into motherhood was real intense. Okay, I didn't get one, I got 2 at the same time. So a couple years into motherhood, I told my husband, like, I'm really drained. And like I said, we were in a maternity home, so that was 6 additional girls who were pregnant on top of my twins at the time. And so I told my husband, I was like, listen, I'm pouring from an empty well. Like I'm depleted. I don't have anything to give anybody else. My kids, my husband, I don't have it to give. And so what we did was we set up once a quarter. I would go, like they said, and I would get a hotel room by myself, whether it was in Charlotte or Raleigh, local. I would go and get a hotel room by myself, and I would do what I wanted to do. I wasn't mommy. I wasn't wife. I wasn't daughter. I was Laisha. That's it. Like I could go when I wanted to. I could go to the movies if I wanted to. I could do whatever I wanted to do. And so by the time I came back, you know, of course I would have loved for it to be longer, but it was enough to get me to the next time. You know what I mean? It was enough to say, okay, I got a little bit in the tank. I can keep going until I have my next R&R, you know. And of course you could take your R&Rs, drive to Chick-fil-A, sit in the parking lot and eat your food. You know what I mean? Versus rushing home to your kids. Like I am a true believer in the driveway ministry. Okay? I utilize it. I utilize it. I'm sitting in the drive. Yes.
Sometimes we forget that we are people first. Like you are an individual first before your mom, before your wife, before you anybody. So that's so important. Yeah. Like, honey, I believe in the driveway ministry.
The driveway ministry is real. Absolutely.
Yes. Until the kids figure it out.
Because we figured it out. We'll figure it out.
Why you sit in the car? Because I am.
Because my mom used to do stuff like that, and she would go out and go to these fancy restaurants. Absolutely. And then she'll tell us, go get those oodles and noodles. And then I'm like, Mom, but you have like steak. I want the same thing. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that? All right, so we're going to move forward.
I just wanted to add that, yes, definitely, I think I noticed what self-care really means as a mother, definitely, especially and as a wife as well. But I do want to point out that, you know, you don't have to be in those roles to have self-care.
Absolutely.
And I think we get blinded by roles just in general. But knowing also, like, I can take care of myself before.
That's
and I don't think that conversation is happening enough. Like, we can give ourselves, we're naturally giving creatures, right? But what if we acknowledge that before we got into those relationships? I think it would be a different experience.
That's good. That's good.
I have teenage daughters, so that's something that I discuss with them all the time. You know, you don't have to. You can take care of you now. You don't have to think that, oh, you only can do that when you become a mother or when you become a wife. No, it's very important that you know who you are before you get to those steps in life. So that was a very good point.
I think it's unfortunate that our generation, we had to go through certain things to be able to teach the now generation. Okay, like you said, you don't have to be a wife. You don't have to have a title to take care of yourself. We weren't taught to take care of ourselves. We were taught to keep it pushing, right? We were taught to, you were inspired to be, to do. And now we're teaching our kids, like I teach my girls all the time, listen, take a break, because I have a 2-year-old as well. Okay, I don't know who told me to do that, but I have a 2-year-old, right? And so I tell my kids all the time, I give them a day to themselves where they don't have to tend to anybody or anything. They can do whatever they want because I want them to understand self-care is important. You cannot pour from an empty well for mommy, for daddy, for yourself, for nobody, including yourself. So that's true. Them titles will mess you up.
Then they won't look for that.
Exactly. They already know what it is. It's a routine. Yeah.
This is so good. So listen, Norlisha. So as we were talking before, life can throw us so many curveballs. And sometimes we are not mentally prepared for it. And we don't have the tools necessarily to overcome them. Can you name a time where you faced an obstacle and you overcame it? And what steps did you take? And how do you now maintain it?
That is very heart-wrenching that you asked me such a question. Being 43 years old, you would just imagine that every day has been sunny, but in my life that have not been the case. Back in 2006, unfortunately, I gave birth to a stillborn baby.
And if I get emotional, just
We're going to get emotional with
It's
you.
fine.
keep me in the pocket here.
With you.
But that was after I had made a lot of bad choices in my teenage years, without going into too many details. But at that moment, I said, I'm going to have this baby. And for whatever reason, God didn't allow it to be. So I actually went to the doctor. They said, hey, we don't hear a heartbeat. And they said, you have two options. You can have the baby or you can have an abortion. So my first thought is, why in the world would I want to give birth to a stillborn baby? So I said, sign me up for the abortion. Well, the doctor came back and said, no, ma'am, we're not going to do that. We don't want to mess your body up. So you're going to have to give birth to this baby. So I had to go through labor. I had to go through delivery. I had to go through calling the funeral home to come to the hospital to get the baby. The whole 9 yards. And as much as I love kids, many of you know, I still don't have a child today of my own. So there are moments that I still struggle and I'm like, Lord, are you beating me up for what I did in my past? And in that situation, I did a couple things. I began to take hold to my girlfriend's babies. I began to love on other people's children. And it gets hard because when I see that message like, hey, sis, I'm pregnant, the first response is like, really? The next response is like, girl, I'm so happy for you. But deep down on the inside, that's still a pain for me. And so even today, sitting here talking to you, I've just began to put that thing before God. I began to leave it alone. I began to talk to my friends, Nina, Candy, different ones, and say, hey, keep me lifted. Keep your girl lifted because I'm 43. I want to have the baby, and it doesn't make it any better that I went to the doctor, and the doctor say, hey, you know you're 43, right? You know you on them last days, and the chances and opportunities of you getting pregnant probably slim to none. So I would say whatever your goals, whatever your dreams, whatever your aspirations are, don't give up because trust me, that book, it gets put into practice. It gets put into practice. The Lord blessed me with a husband, so you know we're going at it every day. I got the calendar on the phone to say today is the fertile day. The baby, let's get it in right now, right now, right now. You know, so don't give up on the vision. Don't give up on your goal. Just make sure that you put it before God. And when I talk to Nina and she say, hey, sis, maybe now is not your time. I'm like, sis, I don't want to talk to you no more. Bye. But that's
Side note, I've never said that. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear.
Now may not be your time. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage because she'll get real churched on me. Wait on the Lord. Lord, the time is now. But just know that whatever it is, that it thing that you feel that you definitely want and that you need, no matter what it is, don't give up. Keep persevering, keep pushing, keep praying. Center yourself around women, these beautiful women that'll keep you lifted because it will eventually happen. So if you have a testimony like me and you want that baby, you want it to happen for you, call me. Let's link up, let's talk, let's form a pack so that way we can keep each other encouraged.
And I do remember something I did tell you, you know, so so Norlisha kind of has a story. My cousin, most of you guys might not know who she is, but she had a lot of miscarriages. I believe she had about 3, and then she had 2 stillborns, back to back to back to back to back. And praise God, now she unexpectedly, we were in church, and someone prayed over her and her husband. And they said, basically, within the next 3 months, you're going to receive something that's going to be unexpected. And now she has 2 beautiful children. And so I was telling Norlisha that, yes, it is in God's timing, even though I never say it might not be for her, but it is in God's timing because at the end of the day, when my cousin had her miscarriages and her stillborn, it was sad. It was heartbreaking. And then she's my oldest cousin, so we're a year apart. And to see her go through things and to see her, you know, cry at night, and her husband praying and fasting over these things. And it's like, she's an amazing person, sweet person. A lot of people love her. So to see her go through that, it was hard for me as one of her younger cousins. So my thing with Norlisha is, it honestly possibly might have not been her time, but she has a time now. And now she's able to raise those beautiful children, and it doesn't matter the age. Because I know a lady, not unfortunately, but I know someone that had a baby. She was like 47. And it can happen for anyone. So I just truly believe that your time will come when it is right. And we're going to keep praying for that. Because I need a goddaughter.
Please make the announcement so sis can have a goddaughter.
Thank you, Brianna.
You're welcome, sis.
Would anybody else like to add to that?
I would love to say, I love how she said that she's constantly still battling. I am a mom of 2 kids who lost their dad the day after Christmas, 2015. My son was the one who actually found them. So every day, every year, it's a constant battle that they fight depression, or we wake up to them crying for their dad, and me not knowing I can't give them their dad. And I don't like to date any and every man, so I'm kind of like head stuck on my kids and making sure that they are successful. So I know I have to always remind myself that it's a constant battle, that it just won't go away. That I just have to tell them that I love them, and other people around them love them, and their dad is in heaven watching over them.
All right, so my next question goes to Bree. Okay, so peace is different because with obstacles, we have to figure out a way to gain our peace. And so peace is different for many people. And some people are still searching for it in many ways, and especially in their life. And I can actually testify that there are some areas in my life that I'm still waiting for peace for. But just like the Bible says, peace that surpasses all of my understanding, I truly believe that one day it will come. Now, how do you maintain your peace on a day-to-day basis? And what happens when your peace is tried? And how do you rise back up? Because you always have a smile.
I do. I have a smile, but I'm a very blunt person.
Yes, you are.
Let's keep it real.
That's balance.
Very much so.
Very.
So I wrote down some notes because I was like, Nina's not finna have me stuck in this podcast.
Write your preaching notes.
Y'all should got like paragraphs.
Yes.
So, okay, like I said, well, like Bree said, or Brianna, she said, self-care, with self-care comes peace. And every day you have to find your peace, because I value my time and I value my peace. Those are the 2 most important things, because my thing is I'm not going to let any and everybody come between me and my time and my peace. I can't honestly say, so 2 years ago, I had a miscarriage, and I don't really talk about it because I hold so much when it comes to leadership, and it's just like I don't want to let anybody down. So it's just like, how can I find the balance of trying to keep life going, but also trying to maintain my peace and my happiness and my values that I carry in a woman. So I'm young. I think I'm the youngest one in this whole group, honestly. I'm only 24 years. Yeah.
19.
Okay, we're going to let you have that. We're going to let you have that. But I'm only 24, so it's like I'm still trying to figure out life. I'm just now getting into adulthood, because, yes, I may be 24, but 24 doesn't mean you're grown. So finding my peace, I listen to, like Brianna said, I listen to affirmations. I love this lady. Her name is Toni Jones. And I just like how she talks about, like I said, here go my notes, talk about manifesting in my present moment.
What
and
scripture?
Girl Talk 25:8. You know. But no, honestly, like, but no, I'm just like, but yeah, when I have a calling on my life, it's only so much that I can talk about and what I can do. So like maintaining my peace, what I do every night is I have a journal that I write in. And, you know, first, before I even write, I pray to God, like, God, what is it that I need to write about? Because I have something that's heavy on my heart I need to let go of. So, you know, most women, when we write in our journals, we say, dear journal. But instead of me saying dear journal, I say dear God. Because he's the only person I could talk to at the end of the day. He's the only one who understands where I'm coming from. He's the only one who knows my heart and my desires. So I talk to God, and it's nothing wrong with talking to him. Because it's like he's the one who get us moving, get up moving, and getting on with our everyday lives and everything like that. And it's just like I have a 8-year-old sister, and she looks up to me. So it's just like I have to move on and figure out what is it that I can do to show her that, yeah, girl, we a boss, you know, we about our stuff, you know. My peace is what really, really keeps me now to maintain from me, you know, fussing some people out because, you know, they don't have no sense. Like I said, I just go to God in prayer, honestly, because he's the only one that really keeps me going on a day-to-day basis.
But what happens when at those moments when your peace is tried, maybe in public?
Who? So, you know.
Is that in your paragraphs?
Let's see. It is in my paragraphs. Honestly, I can say, because I'm my mother's child, Tamika don't play no games. But I honestly just have to sit there, because it was a time where I would just blurt out anything that, you know, that comes to mind. So I had to really sit and think. I just had an altercation with a lady the other week. And I was like, oh, Lord, do I really want to sit here and buck with her? Or do I just want to sit here and, you know, and just, yeah, nuck if you buck? Or do I want to just sit here and walk away and be the mature adult that I am? So like I said, writing for me is very soothing. So I just walk away if somebody try to piss me off, because I'm just like, I know that I'm better than what most people think I am. So yeah, my faith may be tried, but I know that at the end of the day, it's not worth losing my life over, or it's not worth my sanity. So.
I was just going to say that, like Bree, I'm used to being positive too, right? Like, you know, everybody sees me, you know. You know, I like to think that I'm just radiant, like, you know, like.
You are.
I was going to say you are. No, that's not me tooting my own horn. It's just, you know.
No, legit, that's her.
I know who I am. So, I say this to say, one thing that I have found freedom in is the exact opposite of you. Sorry. Which is saying what I feel on my heart to say, because I realize that there is, like, when it's on your heart, you have to say it in order to either heal from it or whatever it may be. So I think that that's also like a different perspective. Like, sometimes you can get peace by saying what you have to say. And you don't have to be nasty or anything like that. But for me, who's naturally held things in, you know, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You know, I don't want to be the bad guy. You know, I want to spread peace. I want to spread smiles. That's like, it's very hard for me, even as an adult, to do, you know, to say what I want to say. But I have found, as I am maturing, that gives me peace. Like, if I have something on my heart to say, I don't have to cuss you out. I can just be like, look, girl, the way that you just talked to me, it ain't happening no more. That's peace for me as well. Like, just saying what you have to say.
I also think, I agree with both of them, but I think you need to figure out the type of person you're dealing with. Some people are not worth it.
Right.
I was and still is a firecracker. I speak my mind. I don't hold back. If I like you, you know it. If I don't like you, you know it. I don't feel like everybody should like everybody. Not being funny, but if everybody likes you, you might need to check yourself, because you might not be as authentic as you think you are. So with me, I pick and choose if I'm just going to walk away or if I'm going to speak my mind. If it's somebody I truly care about, I'm going to speak my mind. If it's somebody I don't give a flip about, you can have that, boo, because you don't matter to me. And I used to address everybody that I would hear say something about Candy. But then I had to realize who I was arguing with. Boo, you can't stay in the house for 6 months. You ain't on my level. I have told somebody before. when you're ready to argue with me, get on my level first, because I don't look down and I don't look back. So get on my level, and we might can talk like adults. But until then, I'm not gonna entertain you. So that's how I protect my peace.
But I know you didn't answer this question, Princess, but one thing that I admire about you so much is the fact that you have this like persona, or just a persona that like nothing really bothers you, like, and you tune everything out. And any negativity, I can be like, Princess, like, girl, I can't stand when this person sees, blah, blah, and she be like, girl, this, and I'll be like, what?
That literally comes from, I've always been like that since I was a kid, and my parents, like, when they used to get on my nerves and try to tell me stuff that I know I didn't feel like, and it was not a rebellious thing, it was more so like I was always a strong-minded kid. I have a daughter just like that. If I feel like I'm content with how I'm thinking about something or what I want to do, that's it, and you're not going to change my mind. So it takes a lot. I mean, when I say it takes a lot for somebody to get me out of character, I will cut you off so fast before I let you take me there. That also comes from having 4 kids. And they like, Mom, and I can tune them. I can tune anything out. You have to tune out the noise, because like you said, protecting your peace, that's work. Like, you have to put work in to protect all of this. And you know, people always, they want to when you do get out of character, that's when they want to say, oh, now you're exposed. No, don't let nobody do that to you. Exactly. Exactly. You don't ever let nobody. Right. But that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Now behold a man. And Jack and Jill went up that hill. That's what that's on. Okay? Because do you want a revolution? All right.
Can I get a whoop whoop?
Yes, sir. So, Maris, okay, so we're going to talk about sex, and sex is such a sensitive topic for some, and then it's not for others. But I want to touch on this topic, and I would love for you to talk about it from the spiritual aspect and the natural side of how do you feel about sex before marriage. And when you talk about the spiritual side, go ahead and quote your scriptures.
No scriptures.
Okay.
Oh, the bed is undefiled in it.
It is. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I am one of the 3 single women in this group. Oh, you're single too? Okay, so it's a couple of us. And I asked for this question because actually I was just having a conversation not too long ago with my sister regarding this, because we're both single and, you know, we're both saved, you know, and living that life. And I want to be transparent. There were times where I failed. You know, I would commit to, I would say, you know, I'm going to be celibate. I'm going to wait for God to send him, and I'm not going to go there. And I will be adamant about it. Like, that is where I am. That is what's going to happen. And then something happened. So, and even, and it was recent too. It was like maybe 2019. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stop saying I'm celibate because I'm being hypocritical. Because as soon as I have an opportunity, you know, I fall. And then I have to, you know, feel convicted and then, you know, pray and recommit again. So I said, look, Lord, I'm just going to stop saying I'm celibate, and I am going to try really hard to not eliminate that from my life, but not focus on that. If I meet someone, that's not the goal. You know, that's not the goal. And I said, it would be nice if maybe you put somebody in my life that's thinking the same way too. You know, maybe that will help me. And he he took me seriously. And he put someone in my life who made that same commitment. So it's not about thinking about it. It's not even about talking about it. It's not even about what it is, because eventually that will come. And it has allowed this emotional relationship to develop. And to be honest, it's so much more intimacy now than it would have been if I would have been physical with him. It's so much more intimacy. It's allowing him to get to know me. I have 4 children. I have 2 granddaughters. I have a big life.
She has twins.
I have a set of twins that are 13. And, this is the first man that they have seen me with in a very long time, that they have been around. So I'm happy that I made that commitment, and I stopped just like, I'm not having sex. And then, and making it a big thing when I meet the person. Well, I'm celibate. And then next thing I know, we in his bed. It's like, see, that's true. That's true. And I'm like, what?
One of y'all ready to move. You right here.
So it's just, I just made that commitment, just go with it, and now I don't have to worry about it.
I want to add to that.
So before my husband and I got married, I was very active, right? I had a very consistent life. But my husband was a virgin. And it's not something that he's secretive about or anything. He's very open with the fact that he, saved his virginity for his wife. And so we dated. I told God, I was like, listen, these guys that I'm being intimate with, that's all we have. Like you said, there was no emotional intimacy. There was nothing, because it was like, oh, okay, you ready? So that was it. There was no foundation. There was nothing. So I was like, listen, God, I can't keep doing this. I know at some point I want to be married. I don't know when, but I know I don't want to keep doing this. And so when my husband and I met, he was a virgin. And so for 2 years, now that was a hard 2 years. Listen, a hard 2 years for me, because I knew what it was. He didn't. So he was, he was fine. Okay. He didn't know what he was missing. You don't miss what you don't know. But when you know, So for 2 years, I had to sleep with pillows and a whole lot of prayer and big body pillows to get me through that 2 years. But I got through that 2 years, and because of that, we were able to have a solid foundation. We knew what communication was about. Now, granted, we got married young, so we still had some issues in the communication department, but we still knew what communication was. We knew what those foundational principles was for our relationship and for our marriage, because we eliminated sex for 2 years. Like I said, it was a prison sentence, but we did it. We managed.
No, you finished this. I'm over here feeling a pain at 2 years, girl.
She's ready.
I feel embarrassed for what I'm about to tell you.
She's ready.
Keep it real.
She's ready.
Okay. That was awesome, Maris. That was awesome. I don't have that testimony. So, all right. So let me just say this. I had all 3 of my kids in 3 years. So y'all know how much I love sex. Okay. So when I met my husband, so we met on a sex term. I hate to say it, but that's what it was. It was like we were just homegirl. I called him like, hey, come over here. Let's see. He was like, you call me like you the dude. I was like, come on over here. Let's have some fun. You go home. And, and after a while, we started catching feelings for each other. And eventually, the relationship grew. We ended up getting engaged. And once we got engaged, he literally said on the way home from church, we weren't having sex anymore. I said, who ain't? You been giving me some on Sundays? Like, what? Like, and he literally, but our pastor preached. He preached something. I don't remember. But all I remember him saying, if you love her, you won't keep having sex with her, send her to hell. And he couldn't let that out of his mind. So literally, on the way to church, on the way home, he was like, "We're not having sex no more." I said, "Who's not?" He was like, "We're not." I said, "We've been having it." Well, we're not having it more until we get married. Y'all, that was the longest 5, 6 months. I don't know how long it was. But I got this thing with cologne and backs. And he would take his shower, put his cologne on, and turn his back to me, and I would be in that bed about to die. So I was like, I'm going to sleep with my daughter. He was like, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." I'm not. I'm ready to rape you, and you serious telling me that I can't have none? I'm going to sleep with my daughter, and I mean it. So he would make me stay in the bed. He was like, "You stronger than that." I said, "I'm not stronger than that. Like, you got to get it." And I mean that. Whatever charge I got to take, I'm taking this charge. But I take my hat off to you. Now, if I could do it over, honestly, now that I know what I know, I definitely would have waited for my husband. I would have waited because I know my worth now. And then I also know that sex blinded me for years, because if they know what they're doing, you forget about credit score. You forget if they got stability. You don't even care if they got a car. You going to get them because he know what he doing. So if I knew then what I know now, I definitely would have waited. So that's my 2 cents.
That song Jasmine Sullivan got on her album.
Yes, the whole CD.
Yeah, but you know what? This is not one of the questions, but you said something about how when you and your husband met, you had to go through that process for 2 years. I wonder if the tables were turned, like not your marriage per se, but I'm talking about men in general. Will they have that patience to wait?
You know what? I think if it's the right man.
All of y'all put your hands up at
If it's the right man. If it's the right man, Sanina, absolutely. But it's about finding.
He is not budging. I ain't gonna sit here and say
He a unicorn.
He is not. But and then yesterday we were talking, and he said something. He said in a conversation, and it made me realize, like, he is like really serious. Like, he has thought about it. I don't know if it's the age, because he's 51, so he's much. I don't know if it's the age thing. I don't know, but he is, and we can be together. We can be together. We can be together. We done been in one room together, and nothing. And it's like, but I did say, I said that if I met someone that is committed to it, it will help me to stay committed to it. So, and when we had that conversation, and he said that initial conversation, when I said that, when I was transparent about that, it changed how he felt about me, and he felt like, okay, well, this is the person that's willing to wait, because he said there has been other women, and they were like, okay, well, he just finally just did it, and so that they could, and then it was over, because it was over. So yeah, it just got to be the right guy. I guess it just got to be the right. It just got to be the right guy.
Yeah, me too.
I just feel like first I feel like I don't think women could answer that because we are not men. But for my opinion, when it comes to like the whole sex situation, when it comes to men, it will just take a very strong-minded man to do that, because they are more sexual than women are. Like, we are more in tune with our emotions, whereas they are more physical when it comes to how they show, and it feeds their ego. Like, sex is a part of how they prove themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta have that conversation. That I feel like sex should not be looked at as oh my God, it's such a terrible thing in a relationship. It's a beautiful thing, but it always warrants a conversation. I feel like you should not be scared to have that conversation, even if you're not having sex. You should not be scared to talk about sexual things, because when you do get married, you want to make sure that y'all on the same page sexually. Like, you know, exactly. Or, you know,
Maris,
you don't necessarily have to have sex, but you can have the conversations and it be healthy.
You're gonna have to pick and choose what you want, mental or sex. Which one is? mean, good God. Maris. No.
And that goes back to find, he has to be the right one, because you're right, men are sexual, men want to touch, men want to feel, men want to embrace, and that lead, what they say, kissing leads to pregnancy, right? So men, I am too. I was not supposed to have a 2-year-old, okay? But it goes, but you have to find that right one. You will know if he's not. Like, if you're focused, like my husband, I was like, sir, you have a beard, like, bring it, come on. And he was like, absolutely not. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was testing the. Don't turn your back, sir, hello. But for 2 years, he was like, absolutely not. I'm not gonna do it. Goes back to finding the right one. Because anybody else would have been like, word, let's do it, you know?
I have talked to that I have said, they're like, okay. Or they say, oh, it don't work. Yeah. Or they say, are you sure you're not supposed to?
So I'm gonna let Norlisha go because she's been trying to go.
Oh,
And then you can go.
I just wanted to say that Candy said something really good about knowing your worth, that if she had the opportunity to do it all over again, she would wait. So like for me, and like many other have mentioned, prior to me and my husband getting married, we were intimate. And I was kind of like Candy. I was calling him like, hey, yo, what up, B? And we were doing all kinds of things. Yes, the saved me, the bishop me, the church girl me, the one that was raised up in the church. Hey, I was still doing it anyway until that time came for me to say, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a hypocrite anymore. I don't want to go to church on Sunday jumping and shouting and calling him, hey, yo, what up, B? So I called him and I had a conversation with him and told him, we can't do this anymore. I can't. I want to live right. And when I told him that, the conversation didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, where it was going to be, okay, I got you. Let's do it. He was like, oh, well, honey, the Lord told you that. The Lord didn't tell me that. Literally, true story. And that thing bothered me and it hurt my feelings because I felt like, hey, well, if you love me, if you want to be with me, you'll wait, you'll put a ring on it. That wasn't the case. He went and got somebody else that fed his needs. But I kept right on serving the Lord. I kept right on praying to the Lord. I kept right on doing what I knew to do. And I said, Lord, I'm going to wait. And if he's the one for me, he'll be the one for me. He'll come back. And sure enough, when God got him ready for me and prepared me, he came back and he's my husband today. So it may not always go that way. If you open that can of worms and you try to put the top on it, it may not always go in your best interest. But you have to know your worth. Know your worth.
Be ready. I would say knowing your worth is very important, but your mental plays a part in it too. When you experience traumas or like you lose love with your dad, simple stuff like that will make you seek sex because the chemicals that's released on sex actually helps with depression for that moment, but it's only for that moment because the depression comes back. But it's just knowing like self-love, getting therapy to seek why you're going after it, but your mental plays a strong part in sexual partners, the sex you have.
You have something you want to say? Go ahead, Sunshine.
I was going to make a similar point. Being someone who experienced childhood trauma, being molested when I was younger, I felt like it was definitely, once I matured and, I stopped my little thought and plotting days when I was in college. I mean, just being honest. I found that someone who could meet my needs and listen to me was something that I valued, and knowing that sex can't always be just the physical. Like, you can't just make me feel good. You have to make me feel safe. You know, you have to make me feel valued. So I think when you think about sex in that way, it changes the whole entire perspective. Like, I know for a fact, like if I said, come on, I don't feel like doing it right now, he'd be like, all right. You know, he respects me. He makes me feel valued and loved. So I think when you take just the physical out of it and knowing that sex is so much more than that. Like, sex can literally give you a whole life inside of you. Like, can we just normalize that a little bit more? Like, you can have a whole baby from having sex. And I don't think people really think about it that deep because you're so caught up in your flesh. But I wanted to make that point. I think that's just a whole different, something that's very important.
And I know we talked a lot about the spiritual side, but I just want to add this, like, with sex sometimes, you know, depending on who the person is. And I think now I've gotten to the point where, like, I don't necessarily have to screen the person per se, but I have to actually know them, get to know them, build that friendship. Because if I'm going to decide to do something like that and your chemicals are released and you might be toxic as a mug. And I don't, sometimes because I'm still working on me, I don't have that strong personality to handle that much of the toxic side of who you are. So I have to be, you know, honest with myself and be like, you know what, this might not be the person for me. But then there are times where I fall through the crack and I'm like, okay, what I'm supposed to do. And all of you guys know, so I'll be transparent too, I'm a worship leader. So for me, it's so hard because they have this label on us that we have to be perfect, and we're always in the corner reading and speaking in tongues and shouting all over. You know, we're just screaming and praising God all day long, but we're not. Lord knows, anybody knows me, they know I love Jesus. But at the end of the day, I also like feeling like I'm human. And sometimes as a worship leader, granted, I do not want to be a worship leader, so let's get that right. But it's one of those things where I still like to feel like I'm human. I know I'm going to make mistakes. I know I'm going to fall through the cracks. I know I'm going to do this and I know I'm going to do that. So that's when I rearrange my language, like Maris was saying, and not say like, okay, I'm just going to stop this. Because I've noticed when like Maris says, when I say I'm going to stop something, I do the opposite of that. And that it gets stronger. And it's like, yo, what's going on down there? What's going It's like, I mean, good God Almighty. So I get it. And so just, you know, because I often tell some of my friends, like, I just want to feel normal. And it's so hard at times because, granted, God has blessed me with a gift, and I know for a fact that He wouldn't give it to me if He didn't know I can carry it. But at the end of the day, it's like, Lord, can I do this just one time? And I promise when I give it, I'm gonna be back. And I'm gonna come back and I'm listening to TD Jakes and I'm listening to all the people that need to get my soul right. Okay. I'm like, I'm coming for you, TD Jakes. Exactly. Yeah. So listen, Amber's have a question for you. So as we said before, life can definitely throw us curveballs. And I truly believe sometimes we are just not prepared for these bad breakups that sometimes we have to go through, whether it be with a guy or whether it be with one of your friends. And I know in life we all go through breakups. How did you personally heal from a breakup that you personally had?
So I think the number one thing that I have done to heal is to give myself permission to feel. We can't hide from our emotions. We can't hide from the fact that we might feel like absolute crap. And sometimes we kind of, try to run away from those emotions. And I think that's when I've had healing moments like that, it's because I've given myself permission to just feel all the feels. Like, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be, it's okay to cry. It's okay to want to fight somebody. Like, you just have to give yourself permission to feel in those moments. And I think in addition to that, definitely
like seeking wise counsel, talking to people who may have gone through similar situations, talking to God, obviously, about what you're going through and praying about it. But I think in addition to that, just giving yourself permission to feel, seeking wise counsel, and at some point flipping your hair and be like, okay, bye. Yeah, I mean.
And breakups are so hard. And friend breakups are even harder sometimes.
Very hard. They
Yes.
are the worst.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
I
they
could talk from
really
a friendship perspective, because it's been a while since I've had friendships, I think honestly are sometimes worse than romantic breakups because you trust this person so much, right? You're very open with your girlfriend about all areas of your life. And so I had a really, really bad friendship breakup. I should have knew 2020 was gonna be rough because how I went into 2020. And so my friendship breakup, it was really, really rough. It took me through a lot of emotions because there were a lot of people tied to this one particular friendship breakup. So it wasn't just me and one person. It was like me, my kids, their kids, some other friends, it was a lot of people attached to it. And so it took me a while to heal from that because I was so caught off guard. Like I was like, really? Like this is what we're really doing? Okay, I gotta go with it, right? Because I can't force anybody, and I'm not gonna force anybody to be in my life, period, or allow me to be in theirs. And so for me, I'm thankful for that particular friendship breakup because it made me more open to new relationships and new bonds. Because honestly, if that hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't be here because I would still be so closed off. Because we have that no new friend mantra, like a lot of women hold on to that like for dear life. And even though I didn't say those words, that's how I kind of acted, right? Where I was very closed off. I'm fine with these couple people. I know these people won't hurt me, but it was like, oh no, sis, they can hurt you, and they're about to. And so when that happened, I allowed myself to be open to new people and new relationships and new friendships and new bonds because they're out there, and sometimes they're better than the ones that you have currently. And I've learned that, and it hurt. It hurt for a long time, but I'm happy that it allowed me to be in this space.
So I wanted to just ask a question. What if it is a family member that you're breaking up with? How do y'all handle that?
Oh, let them go too.
Same thing? Same?
And just
same
see him at
vibe?
Thanksgiving.
Sanina mentioned earlier, like how at peace I am always. I've literally been through probably more because I have never really done too many relationships, but I probably had more friend breakups than anything. And really, you just gotta look at everybody as seasonal sometimes. Sometimes, like, even like in relationships, everybody is just not meant to be a part of your life forever. There are some of those friends, and I learned that in grade school, going through high school. Like, I was never in daycare. So when I went to kindergarten, I just thought I met my best friend. She could be my best friend for the rest of my life. And then the next 2 weeks, she had another best friend. I learned early, like, oh yeah, people will switch up on you real quick. They'll find another tribe real quick.